Hello, everyone. It's Lisa. How are you guys? And this is Heart of Inspiration. We are going to talk about, yes, I have plenty of notes today. We are going to discuss Retrograde PALOOZA, which has officially already started, actually. It started on April 25th with Pluto. And yeah, this is about to be a party. All right. Welcome to the channel. Here at this channel, we help you lead a whole and healed, peaceful, and prosperous life. Now, this is going to be a live where you are definitely going to want to take out pen and paper. This is probably going to be a live. You're going to want to go back and forth and review again because we're dealing with four different planets. 4 different planets in retrograde. Retrograde PALOOZA. Yes. I'm not one to say that retrogrades, I don't have a particular feeling on the retrogrades. I don't have a particular thought process or anything other than the fact that I firmly feel like retrogrades are a good opportunity for us to kind of, I don't know, we have a chance for a do-over. We have a chance to review and renew and look at all of those things that we're supposed to be already changing. All right, but perhaps we just didn't. Perhaps we kind of just let them lie, or we just didn't get a chance to finish them off. And then we get to go deeper into the whys, the whats, and the transformative energy and power. So for any and all of these, I want you to understand that when I put them all together, when I group them all together, what's happening is that we're going to have 3 planets in retrograde in Capricorn. And we'll have 1 planet in retrograde in Gemini. Hey, Shona Mona. Hello, Cerisi, and hello, Sassy. This is another opportunity for transformation. This is another part of the reset of time. This is another moment in time where we're supposed to go deep within to release ourselves from the matrix. So if you get an opportunity, hey Casey, when you get the opportunity, you can go back and look at, if you haven't already seen it, my astrology of Trump, his information, the reasons why, the astrological secrets behind his decisions, and we'll be doing more of that soon. In looking at this is an opportunity for us to utilize our own individual empowerment in order to truly break free and truly find our own individuality in our own power, okay, within ourselves. We have to stop looking outside of ourselves in order to find our freedom and find our power. I apologize for you guys watching the replay. And then you can just go to Heart of Inspiration. Just search that, dear. Shona, I made you a mod again, hun. Sarisa, I'll take you off from being a mod, Sarisa, if you want me to after this live. Just let me know. Hey, Sharon. Okay, so let's get back to it. 4 planets going in retrograde, each in succession, some coming out sooner than others, most staying in retrograde until at least October of this year. Okay? 3 of them in Capricorn, and it's all the 3 heavy hitters, guys. It's Saturn, it's Pluto, and it's Jupiter. All in retrograde in Capricorn. All still trining Uranus in Taurus. So we've still got that individualized revolution happening in Taurus, in our personal house, right? Now, depending upon where Taurus, what house it's in for you, right? Hey, Fit Goddess. Depending upon what house it's in for you is going to, depend upon, we'll see where that actually relates. And if you want to know how all of this relates to you, I am going to put up some sort of kind of a retrograde special, I think, a retrograde transit special for us to really take this and kind of go in depth into each on your natal chart. It's going to be a little pricier, but we'll go in depth, all right, on each of these retrogrades and take a look for you as an individual, how it's going to apply. But because I'm not going to get into the houses right now, it's going to make this video even longer. But Taurus itself, if we think of the energy of Taurus, if we think of the energy of what that represents, second house, these are all the things that are very near and dear to us. These are all the things that we value on a very personal level. Okay, our individuality. Hey, Trine. Our individuality as it's expressed in the world, in that this is kind of the persona. So a Taurus thing, for an example of a Taurus thing is, my nails, my hair, the fact that I like jewelry, the fact that I like little gadgety stuff, house, nice things, finer things, how I take care of my family, how I provide for myself, how I earn my money. Hey, truly, how I earn my money, my coinage. Okay, how I earn my coinage. That's really important too. Career, da 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 da. Thank you, Trine. So Uranus is still in there upsetting all of those apple carts. Uranus is still in Taurus, and it's going to be there for a hot minute, so just get used to it. Upsetting everything, changing the routine, changing all of that. So now we're going to also juxtapose that now. And even though it's in the early degrees of Taurus, it's still technically trining these planets that are going to be that are now in Capricorn or will be in Capricorn. So since Pluto kicked this all off, the house of transformation, 8th house energy. When I think of Pluto and when I think of 8th house energy, I don't know how many of y'all watched Game of Thrones, but when y'all know, I think it was in the 4th or 5th season, when Khaleesi, Daenerys, when she went into she got captured and she got taken to this house where all the old Khaleesi's, the people whose husbands, the wives whose husbands had died, okay, and they were supposed to be hemmed up in this one little house, and okay. Hemmed up in this house, and that's where they were supposed to stay. Well, really, but this group of cows just wasn't cool, right? They weren't cool, They weren't good people. And they were basically, because she blonde hair, you know, Caucasian. They was like, oh no, 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 no. They basically, and she was all about her stuff, right? She is the dragon queen. She is, you know, Daenerys Targaryen of the house Targaryen, firstborn, right? Well, y'all remember that scene where she basically had the door locked and set fire to the whole thing and emerged from this fire? She had lit the whole thing on fire. Got the women out. The women got out, but she lit this thing on fire and lit them men up. And she walked out of that darn place unburnt, but she was transformed. And it was a personal transformation. It wasn't the same transformation she had done when she took the dragon eggs and came out of, you know, Drogo's funeral pyre. Y'all gotta watch Game of Thrones. Some of y'all will get what I'm saying later on. But anyway, my point is this: that was a one level of transformation earlier in the series. This transformation was she went in a previous Khaleesi, right? But by name only, because her husband had died, and she exited these flames with incredible amount of power. And knowing and knowing and knowing and knowing that she, not only did she know for sure who she was, but they all saw who she was and ended up becoming a ruler in her own right. They had never had a male ruler. She become a female ruler, excuse me. She becomes the female ruler and leads these people. This is how I look at the transformative energy of Pluto, like coming out in this phoenix, right? Like emerging as this new being, dealing with all these internal issues. Because at first when she got captured, she was like, oh, she never really let go of who she was. But she was still kind of like, I got to figure this. She had to deal with some past issues. She was supposed to go there once Kyle died. And she didn't go there. She just went on her little merry way with her dragons. She was like, I'm out. So she had to come back and deal with this in order to go forward in her true power and all of her might. As the individual, not looking to anyone else to say, this is who you are, you're the queen, you're the this, you're the that. At that point, she was like, look, I'm the unburnt, I'm the undead, I'm the unthis, I'm the mother of dragons, I'm the this, I'm the that, I'm the this. My sun and stars, moon in the sky. Yes. Now, some other time we'll have a conversation, y'all, over some tea and some, you know, maybe Long Island iced teas, about how they did my girl dirty in that show. But my point is this, I digress. Pluto's retrograde, and earlier today I saw that Dolo put up a video on this too, but I'm going to come at this from a different angle, is that the Pluto's retrograde is the opportunity for personal transformation, but I want to relate this to all the other planets that are going into retrograde as well, because it's not just personal transformation. It's not just growth. It's not just, you know, rebirth, because this is a rebirth. This is a complete rebirth of you into the light being, into the empowered being, into the ultimate queen and king that you are truly meant to be. This is your rebirth. This is your time, right, to shine. This is your time to see that you are not supposed to be looking to the outside for everything. We cannot depend upon the government. We cannot depend on the cat down the road. We cannot depend on mommy. We cannot depend on daddy. We are supposed to be exercising our own power that we have been given. We are supposed to be finding the divine power that we have been given, that we were born with, that we were gifted with as co-creators with God. with Supreme Source. Now, if you're a person that don't believe in God and a Supreme Source, I can't help you. I really can't. So y'all might as well, those that are watching the replay on this might as well click off now, baby, because I can't help not a thing, chicken wing. I cannot help you. That is where we're imbued with the power. Okay? That's where we're imbued with the power. We are a part of the divine, the grand divine, the big divine, the supreme source, the creators of all. And Pluto, this Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, along with it, we're going to get to how Saturn comes next, then Jupiter. So let's lay it line upon line. Saturn, then Venus, then Jupiter, line upon line, precept upon precept. So we're already in Pluto retrograde. That started on April 25th. If you notice on April 25th, if you go back, all of a sudden, we started hearing all these crazy alarms about all these passings away of peoples from the plague. Right? We started hearing about all this. More programming. Why? Because as Pluto comes back into Capricorn, this is in retrograde. It's not leaving Capricorn actually until next year sometime. Anyway, I think. Anyway, as it is still in Capricorn and now it's reviewing again, what is your personal power? How is your relationship to the outside world or the outside governing body? How and is that outside governance, whatever layer of governance it is it trying to suppress you? And are you allowing that suppression? Are you believing in, hey D, are you believing in the storyline? Or are you willing to rewrite your own story in your own power? I'm not going to take any snarkiness from the chat. We see any snarky people in the chat today. Pluto in retrograde. Pluto in retrograde, right, gives us, it tends to dredge up that shadow energy. It tends to dredge up the issues, the pain. It can even bring up psychological issues. So these are traumas, basically, that we're gonna, so if you're finding yourself dealing with traumas you thought you already dealt with a long time ago, if you're finding yourself dealing with issues that you've dealt with a long time ago, you're like, I thought I got rid of that. I thought I dealt with that. That was last week or that was last year. This is could potentially bring it up again, not because it just wants to torment you more, but because it is giving you another opportunity to clear your stuff up. It's giving you another opportunity, if it's a karmic issue, to clear your karma. It's giving you another opportunity to heal these wounds. It's actually doing a gut check. So you might think you done dealt with something. You might really think you might have dealt with something. And all of a sudden now the more something pops up, it's testing you. This is your test. Did you really deal with it? How are you going to face it this time? Are you able to deal with it in love? Are you able to deal with it in peace? Are you able to look at it without having a great emotion? Shonda can give me all the snarkiness she wants to. That's my trying. She has to keep me in tow and in check here. She got to give it to us real and raw. It's a gut check. It's a, hey, let's test you again. Hey, let's test it all over again. It's going to give us another opportunity to face our demons. Okay? It is the catalyst. Do you guys know what a catalyst is? I don't know if you studied in science, right? If you were doing an experiment, there are certain elements that are catalysts that make it easier for a chemical reaction to happen. Pluto is a reactor, a catalyzer. It makes it easier, although it feels kind of tough. It makes it easier for this transformation to happen. In fact, it accelerates it. A catalyst also accelerates the reaction. It makes it go faster. So, for instance, you're boiling a pot of water on the stove for your spaghettis or your macaronis or your rice, and you want that water to boil faster, you put the catalyst of salt in the water and it makes it boil faster. It helps it to quicken the release of the boiling point energy. Okay? So this Pluto retrograde. I'm going to sit here for a second. The Pluto retrograde is going to help you to realign yourself, to root things out, to reorient how you are looking at your deep-seated traumas or them demons. Y'all can act like ain't none of y'all got no darn demons that's still been hanging around and trying to act a fool. Y'all can act like that if you want to. I ain't finna act like that. Now I know good and gosh darn well every once in a while one of them jokers pops up and be like, I'm here. Hello. Good morning. Good evening. Let me poke you right in your side and piss you off today. Hey, Vernell. So the question now is, how are you going to react to that when it pops back up? Are you able to look at that situation in a state of neutrality and be like, oh, all right, well, that really don't bother me anymore. Nice try. Bye-bye. Right? Are you able to stand your ground and say, I ain't dealing with it. We ain't doing this no more, man. I'm over you. Okay? It's over now. You treated me so bad. That's right. Not today, Satan. Oops. And not tomorrow either. Oh, my contact. So, the power struggles and all of this stuff. So, where you are not feeling empowered in your life, Pluto is going to say, hello, we gonna get our power back? Are we finally going to take it over? So the question has been asked, when do the demons chill out? The demons chill out when you can look at this with a level of neutrality and say, this is not me no more. And really, it ain't even about whether or not it makes me angry or not. I mean, yes. But I'm going to tell you something. If it does make you a little upset, and you can't set the boundary to be like, this is not something we're doing anymore, then that is something, that mirror is looking at you. That's your reflection, and that's something you have to deal with. Pluto is going to reflect on us, these other areas where the seat of our power, right? It's an earth energy, Capricorn. It is rulership, Capricorn. The seat of our power in our root chakra, right? In our 3 chakras below, our root, our sacral, and our solar plexus. Are we going to get them things moving and spinning and working and grinding and going on and not succumbing to what we have succumbed to before and allowing it to drag us down? It's a transformation. Are we going to continue to do this loop over and over and over and over again? Or are we going to break free from the loop and express our individuality and our own empowerment? That's where we are at. That's where we're at. Now, Jupiter, oh, one more thing. Hold on. So Pluto, this Pluto retrograde is also partially squaring Mercury. Yes. So it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for us to understand, or we're trying to make sense of everything. Yes, let your Capricorn moon sit shotgun instead of backseat. Oh, this is gonna be a fun one for you, Sharon. This month of May is gonna be real fun for you, honey. Okay, so Pluto. We're trying to understand why things are happening governmentally. We're trying to understand why we're in this situation. We're trying to also, if this is going to be this plus Jupiter plus Saturn is going to give us a different way of relating to the powers that be. Now, I'm not going to go into the conjunction that's going to happen in June. Let's go on to Saturn is next. The next one on the list here is Saturn. Saturn will be going retrograde on the 11th, I believe this is. Yes, May 11th. May 11th. The Saturn retrograde is about influence on a social level. You're going to have to be careful so that you can really keep track of any issues that pop up related to your personal structures. So family, social, your work, authorities, and those are, see, that's the kind of the authority figure as it's exiting Aquarius and coming back into Capricorn to say, oh, we're going to dance one more again before I go back out of here for the rest of my little orbit here. Okay? This is going to shift, and you've been noticing this shift already while it's in its shadow period. The shift in how we as individuals relate to the authority. Who is now an authority? Who is not? Who do we consider an authority? Who do we not? It does, however, make it later on, this Saturn retrograde is going to be easier for us with productivity and such. So this Saturn retrograde is not as internal as it is changing our external world, while Pluto is rolling in saying, oh, we know we're going to change how we feel about this, and we're going to exercise our freedom as spirit-led beings. How do we need to relate to the authorities here? Are those authorities really our authorities? Should they be an authority? Hey, Janet, should they be in authority over us in the first place? Or should we not be paying no god darn attention to them? Should they still be in power, or should they be removed? Pluto also is going to show us secrets. A divine butterfly. Pluto is also going to show us secrets. Hello? About our authoritarian figures and those that have set themselves in authority. The 13th, it's going into retrograde on the, oh, Venus goes into retrograde on the 13th. Anyway, our authority, right? This is changing literally what we are witnessing. And I'm going to tell you something. The Pluto retrograde lasts all the way until October. Saturn retrograde, I believe one of these lasts till Pluto retrograde lasts till October. Jupiter retrograde ends. When does that go direct? In September. Saturn, I believe, ends in like October. So, oh, bye, Miss Deanna. Thank you for coming. We have a good chunk of the rest of this year with the three biggies in retrograde and then crossing back and forth. We got some time. So this is a lot of, this isn't a change that's going to just happen and then be done. This is going to take us here in the States right up to our election. Saturn lasts till October as well then, yeah. Pluto does too. Thank you, GC. This is going to take us right up into November. So be on the lookout to see motivations, true motivations on all sides. True motivations on every plane. Secrets, lies, deceit, truth, all of it transformed. All of it transformed. And how we as a collective now interact with one another and what this power structure looks like. And again, I cannot stress enough, it is so critical for you to learn to depend on yourself and not depend on others. It is absolutely imperative that you learn to depend on yourself and not depend on others. It is absolutely imperative that you do your work for your finances. We're about to get into the finance aspect as we go. Venus is next during retrograde PALOOZA. Venus, being the planet of love, is going retrograde in where? Gemini. This is all about relationships. And this ain't just about your own personal romantic relationships. This is an emotional transformation. So we've got Pluto up here doing like all kinds of like, this is foundational transformation that you should be doing. And then Saturn coming back to its home it really likes to be in, Capricorn. Oh yeah, y'all thought I was going. I'm coming back home. I got another lesson to teach you. And then Venus is going, yeah. You know, I was having fun in Gemini here. It was a good thing. It was a good time. But let me backtrack. So it's going to then go through the emotional. Yep, it's in Gemini, going retro in Gemini, starting on May 13th. It only lasts until the 25th, but the shadow period already started April 9th, and it's going to be ending July 29th. So we're going to feel its effects into the end of July. This is about emotional transformation. This is a really personal planet. So this kind of isn't really, none of these are really giving you a choice. You can come willingly or you can come kicking and screaming. If you come kicking and screaming through these transformative energies, you know what's going to happen. You probably won't learn your lessons and you will be back again to go around another merry-go-round on this one. Okay, like legit. You're going to be back again to do another merry-go-round. So unless you want to come back and repeat the same things you're supposed to have been learning, and these are some major cycles, we have not seen these planetary cycles in our lifetimes. Some of these planetary cycles have not happened since the 1700s. That's 2,000 some years ago. Not quite 3,000 because of when they happened during the 1700s, but about 2,000 years ago. Are you telling me you want to... Oh, welcome back. Welcome back. These are things we've not seen. The last time, Saturn, stop it, Vic got it. See, snarkiness, and I'm just kidding. Um, Saturn, I mean, these planetary, let me tell you guys something. The last time some of these things happened, it happened again in the 1400s. There was a change in how we, every time, oh, that's good. Every time historically these transits have happened, there has been a change in how we mark time, how we measure time. There has typically been civil unrest. There has typically been religious civil unrest. Religious civil unrest, even. Big religious spiritual change in how humanity as a whole interacted with its creator, interacted with God, how we looked at whom God is, right? So there are major social shifts, global shifts that happen in group philosophy, group think. And again, how we interact with fourth dimension, how we interact with time, how we mark time. So look for some major changes to happen. I'm not saying the whole calendar is going to change. It could over the next few years. Who knows? All I know is this marks major change. Social, economic change. New currencies, new dynasties. America, Civil War, right? All of these things have happened. The Crusades, all of these things have happened during these, if you look back in history, during Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Pluto, like this combination kind of thing. This is some interesting stuff. Now, we're going to throw Venus into the mix because now this really is saying emotionally, you got to get your emotional stability in order. Throwing away all your money in calendars. Don't throw your calendars and your money away. I'm not saying it's worthless. But also don't be surprised. I'm listening to what's going on in the third dimension, and I'm looking at what the mundane astrology says, and I could see us changing to a gold standard very easily. Right? We can manifest a change into daylight savings. So, emotional transformation. When Venus is in retrograde, she's more about practicality than all this do. So, Venus. Oh, Sharon, we'll talk about that. I'm spouting them off the top of my head. I believe 1782, and I want to say 1462 maybe, but don't quote me. I'll tell you about that. When she's in retrograde, because now she's going to go into retrograde and then she'll reemerge as the morning star. She'll reemerge as this kind of Virgin Mary kind of like inspiration of love. I mean, the morning star is also referenced to Jesus, is referenced as the bright and morning star. The morning star is referenced to Mother Mary as well. So right now she's going in this kind of shadow, this darkness, and dealing with all of these inner feelings, right? These inner emotions. You have to look at how your relationships are. Are they built on equality or are they not? Are you being taken advantage of? Venus is asking you to look at that in conjunction with Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter all in retrograde. Now, Saturn doesn't join the Capricorn party for a little bit yet, but Jupiter and Pluto in retrograde, hey, baby. Asking you to look at all of this. Who are you in relationship with? Who are you in partnership with? How is this relationship or partnership going? Is it a win-win situation, as my trine likes to say? Is it a win-win? Or are you always on the short end of that stick? It's again, more time to deal with your own feelings, and it's time to release your feelings and deal with them. It's time to release your feelings and deal with them. It's time to finally look at them with a level of neutrality. With a level of neutrality and say, this is no longer serving me. This is no longer serving me. I'm not sure about how I feel about this. This one here, I don't know. I could take this one or leave it. It's not really a win-win, but they really ain't helping me. Your feelings between May 13th and June 25th, in conjunction with everything else, because mind you, June 30th is when we have the second Pluto-Jupiter conjunction, while they both in retrograde. You want to talk about some feelings? You better get your feelings together. So that as you're analyzing each of these sections in your life, and as you're making a transformation in each of these portions of your life, you can do it with a level of, how can I put this, objectivity, and not be so gosh darn tied to it all. Don't be so tied to everything. Look at it with an objective point of view and honestly see, is it serving you? And if it's serving a pain, if it's serving something in the shadows, if it's serving a hurt, gosh darn it, is it time to let it go or not? Or are you just going to continue to sit in the pain? Is it time to let go of the fear? Or are you just going to just sit in it? Are you to continue to believe everything that you're told from the television programming and all the other programming that's on Facebook and the programming that's on Twitter and the programming and the propaganda? Or are you going to look inside and say, I cannot depend on these people to tell me the truth? Because anytime some truth pops out, all of a sudden they're taking it down and censoring it. You can't trust them. You know what the song says, these hoes ain't loyal. I mean, come on now. These hoes ain't loyal. Now y'all know and if y'all don't know that song, just Google it. Google these hoes ain't loyal and you'll find out what I'm talking about. Now, the last person, who going to bed? Who going to bed? Bye, Shonda. You leaving me? She's going to bed all early. She ain't going to bed. She just going in her cave for a minute. TikTok, that's right. What is that? You know I've been listening to that Savage remix. Anyway. You all right, baby? You okay, GC? Listen. The last to join the party is Jupiter. A Jupiter retrograde, though, to me, is probably, it makes things a lot easier. Now, it can also give you this false sense of security, but I feel like it makes things a lot easier during all of this. I mean, this also is a philosophical and a spiritual introspection, but it gives it to you from the perspective from a very godlike. Jupiter represents like sacrifice and represents like a Christ image and things like that. Okay. And all of that. Right? But this is going to help you to deal with certain issues in a way, because in the way of saying, I'm going to help you deal with it so we can come out of this happier. Like, you'll be able to see where the goodness is, the joy, right? Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Sagittarians are all bubbly, bubbly, bubbly. Here we go. Let's all have fun. Let's all have fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All about the party, right? So allowing your inner Jupiter, exactly, GC, allow the inner Jupiter to rise up. You know, maybe that inner Jupiter's got to go down for a few minutes. You know, die for 3 days, spend 3 days and 3 nights in the grave, and rise again. Rise again. Now, come on, somebody. Now, y'all know what I'm talking about. Hey, SR, how you doing, baby? Y'all know what I'm talking about. It rise up. So your inner Jupiter rising. Okay? Your inner Jupiter rising is going to allow you to see we're going through the dark, going through the depths, going through the shadows, going through it to get to the other side, to get to the rebirth, to come out of that fiery pit and come out unburnt and unscathed with your dragons flying around overhead, ready to take over the entire world. Can you take your world over? Can you truly rule your world? Jupiter's also about expansion. I love Jupiter because it's like, I can, as far as my eye can see, my spiritual eye can see, that's the land that's mine. As far as my eye can see, that's my land, right? So can you see that far? Can you see what your birthright is? I don't know. The rising sign, my dear, comes from what sign was coming up over the horizon at the time of your birth. What constellation was coming up over the horizon? But can you see it? Right? And so this Jupiter retrograde is kind of giving you a nice little cushion. You would think it'd be Venus, but you know, Venus, she could be kind of fickle. Venus can be a little fickle. Okay. Because if she's not feeling that beautiful, she about to sting your butt. She gonna tear you back. But Jupiter is saying you can have it all, baby. As far as your spiritual eye can see, that's what you can have. And that's what your destiny and your birthright is. So when Jupiter comes out of retrograde and goes back direct, now we got some plans laid down. Now we got some transformations. And not only that, now we can sit on our throne, Saturn. Now we can sit on our throne in our root chakra and our sacral and our solar plexus being healed, the bottom half of our chakra system, because now we feel and we know with our heart and we speak with authority out of our throat and we see with our third eye and we hear and download and upload through our crown chakra, but we sit on the seat of our third dimensional throne, whole, healed, ready to prosper, not dependent upon a government entity, another entity, this entity. We have the creative power as we sit on our seat of our throne to bring in everything from the ethers, materialize it into the third dimension as Jupiter comes rising from the grave, as Venus comes and becomes the morning, the bright and morning star when she goes direct. Jupiter helps us fix those psychological, I'm not sure that I deserve it, I don't know if I can have it, It's not so much shadow work as this is how to get out of the shadows, baby. By the time Jupiter stations direct, you really have needed to come to terms with any issues that are keeping you from succeeding. So all of these retrogrades are giving us an opportunity to look and deep inside as to what is holding us back from the success that we are meant to have. Holding us back from our birthright, people. Holding us back from our purpose. Definitely this is going to be all of these together, all four together are about inner growth while there are global things happening on the outside of us. I'll get you a question just a second, Sharon. But the inner growth is really important because that is really going to change how we relate to the external changes. Okay. So, how long is Pluto in retrograde? It starts May the 14th. September? Hang on one second, I'll tell you in just a minute. Jupiter is in retrograde. It was right. I was right. September. Jupiter's in retrograde from May 14th to September the 12th. It is going to be conjunct to Pluto on the 30th of June, and then once more a little bit later on after it's direct. Just so we know, I think in November, December, something like that. All right. Self-reflection before we can transform. You have to. So hopefully you all have been doing a lot of this up until this point. Because if you haven't, I'm not saying you can't, but you're going to get a crash course. Crash course. So let's really, May is, April showers bring May flowers. Pluto is direct on October the 5th, correct? But Jupiter is September the 12th. What is our deadline? You're always looking for deadlines. You have between now and September-ish. Okay, how about that? Because you need a deadline. Now between September, okay? Between now and September. It's not a deadline. It's that these energies are going to make it really October the 5th. It's really going to make it easier for us. Even though it feels rough, it's going to make it easier for us to do it, okay? You have been. I know, honey. You clear one level and all the rest of the levels start showing. That is exactly how, when we start doing this work, that's what happens. But we get more accustomed to doing it. That's the beautiful thing. We get more accustomed to doing it, so it gets easier and easier. Yes, release, go with the flow. Okay? Meditation, letting go. This is when a lot of the chakra work and all that kind of stuff can help. All the energy work, all that stuff. All right? Okay, guys, it's been about an hour. I try to get it up out of here in no more than an hour. So, we've got, let's see here. I want to just make sure that we know a few things before I skedaddle. I don't want, any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, so trust me, I've been there. This is what we're gonna do probably tomorrow, by tomorrow at some point. Tomorrow at some point, I'll have up here where you can get your own natal forecast for all 4 of the transits. We'll do a natal forecast for you. I gotta figure out how much time that's gonna take me, and then I'll figure out what pricing that is, okay? But that'll be up on the website. We are still having the live sessions. I'm probably gonna run this for a little bit longer. Yep, and on June the 30th as well, GC, June the 30th. Janet, you gonna watch, bye Tiffany. You gonna have to rewatch this to figure out how it's gonna affect your emotions. That's what a natal chart is gonna give you. How it's gonna affect your emotions, what we should be looking for, all of that. All right. Y'all be out of here, don't y'all? I'll be back on in about an hour and a half. And I'm gonna remember who left real early. Anyway. No problem, dear. No problem, GC. So we're doing energy work live sessions, 40% off. It's just it's an amazing opportunity, guys. Okay? Because then pretty soon I'm gonna go back to regular price. And there's also packs, you know, of 3 or whatever if you want to do mentoring. All right? Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks, love. Your chart is lit. I bet it is. Okay. This is what we're going to do then. I'll put that up. So go back and check on heartofinspiration.net. Check tomorrow for that. Okay. What that is. So tonight, in about an hour and a half, we are doing tarot and talk after dark live readings. Oracle card is free one, and then we'll be doing for donations you get a more full reading from me. There's still going to be quick readings. I'm not doing really long readings tonight. I just want to sip with y'all. I'm gonna have my favorite beverage around here. You know, wish I could play music, but I'll probably have something going on in the background that I won't get copyright strike for. And I am going to be, thank you, GC, and I'm going to be on StreamYard, so you can join in, okay, in the actual chat. All right, guys, thanks so much for being with me. Don't forget, go to the website, check back tomorrow or later on tonight, and we'll have that natal chart reading opportunity for you guys for all 4 of these transits. All right, we'll come to that. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you guys so much. We'll see you in a little while. Namaste. Bye, guys.